Yo, what is up guys? It is Samool back again with another Epic 7 video for you guys today. Today we have a first impression video for Taeyou, a new unit that is releasing on the 5th of May. Now Taeyou's banner will be running for 2 weeks since he is a new unit, and he seems like a pretty good answer to the current meta units that a lot of people have been complaining about. Now, first off, you'll notice that he is an Ice Warrior, which is pretty weird considering that he has a very red theme going on. He literally has red hair, he has a red aura around his spear, and he literally has attire that you'd see from like the Fire Nation in The Last Airbender, if you guys know what that show is. So that being said, you're also going to see from his, skill artwork and his just design in general that it just looks like he should have been a fire unit. It's just weird that he's ice, right? And in this picture, you'll even see that he looks like a younger version of Kairon, which is pretty cool. So yeah, skipping ahead, like you'll see his standing animation, idle animation, pretty cool. His spear looks really great. We also have, the artwork that went into his design. And you're going to see right after this that there is a unit that I kind of want to come out because I know for sure I would be pulling for her, right? But yeah, getting into his base stats. You'll notice his attack is pretty high. Same with his speed, signaling to me he'll be some kind of fast initiating unit or even a counter initiating unit. Probably counter initiator because his speed is only 115. Not like 128 like you see on other initiators. You also see he gets crit chance and effectiveness, meaning that he definitely is planning to, or is planned to do a lot of damage while also having a dispel or debuff or something like that, because he does get effectiveness from his awakenings as well. So that being said, you'll also notice that his memory imprints will give him health for everyone else, but most importantly for concentration, it'll be attack, so he's definitely going to have some high damage capabilities. So let's get into his skills real quick. His S2 is a passive. After an enemy uses a non-attack skill, for example, Conquer Release S3, Payra S3, Maid Chloe S3, Angel of Light S2, etc., you're going to cleanse yourself of all debuffs and become enraged for 3 turns, and also get skill nullifier. This can only be activated every 3 turns with Mulgora, so you basically want to skill enhance this so you can have enrage up all the time. Enrage will empower your abilities, and it's also undispellable, so you really want to make sure you can cycle very quickly so you can have your S2 buff up at all times. Very, very important for his kit, as you'll see. For example, the way it procs is Payra is going to S3 here. Usually people will S2 into S3 on Payra, so you can assume that Taeyou is probably debuffed here with Restrict and Unbuffable here. And you're going to see right after Payra S3s, you're going to see the animation for Taeyou's S2 go off. He cleansed himself, he has Skill Nullifier, and he has that undispellable Enrage buff, which you can see with the solid blue background, meaning that it is, in fact, undispellable. So very cool. Next, we have his S3, which is going to be an AoE attack that will strip 2 buffs and also increase skill cooldowns of the target with the highest attack by 1 turn twice. So what does that mean? So this means that, for example, let's say you're against a Hwayong, right? Hwayong will have the highest attack on her team, and you decide to S3. So the ability will target Hwayong for the skill cooldown, the damage will affect everyone, and the strip will affect everyone, but the skill cooldown will only affect Hwayong, and you have 2 rolls to actually push back her cooldown by 1 turn. And that's really, really important because if you get 15%ed by one of the rolls, you actually have another chance to push back the cooldowns, which is very important because it gives you less RNG, because at least getting 1 turn pushback to land is very important, especially against a unit like Hwayong, because if you can push back Hwayong's S3 by even 1 turn, she won't be one-shotting something off the bat. And you're going to see that if you can actually make this land, Taeyou will actually be able to one-shot Hwayong right after. So very important. Keep in mind this will also strip the barrier that Hwayong gets. So very, very nice as well. Also will increase attack himself, making him very self-sustainable. You don't need to bring an attack buffer for him if he's your main DPS, which you probably don't want in most situations, but he does seem okay for it. You're going to see when he's enraged, this will dispel all buffs instead of just 2 buffs, including, I don't know if this will dispel, when it says dispel all buffs, I don't know if this will dispel undispellable buffs like Vigor. I don't think so. I think it just means that it'll dispel more than 2 buffs that is listed. So very good against Payra because Payra has 3 buffs. So you're going to see just from his S3, right? He seems like a very, very solid counter to Hwayong and Payra, which are very, very annoying to deal with in the current meta. And that's also kind of why Smilegate made him an ice unit, because if he was fire, right, Hwayong can actually just one-shot him, even without the S3 if he's squishy enough. And if he was fire, he has a chance to miss on Payra. But since he's ice, he won't miss first Payra with the strip, and Hwayong will have a very hard time dealing with him. You'll have to gamble the game because, what's it called? Taeyou will have a 50% chance to dodge because of element advantage on Hwayong. So yeah, that's pretty much it for his S3. Let's look at the animation real quick. It looks pretty cool, very fiery, right? Signals fire unit, but yeah, he's an ice unit, very interesting. But yeah, he's an ice unit for the meta, guys. You'll see, and the damage was pretty decent, right? He did about 7k, 6k, right? 5k to tankier units, so not too bad. But you're gonna see that the bulk of his damage isn't from his S3. Actually, it's gonna be from his S1, Full Moon Slash. So this is a single target attack, which will increase CR himself, so he can CR cycle really quickly, because you're also going to see that he's going to be doing more damage proportional to his own speed. So you're most likely going to build him fast enough to counter initiate, right? It makes sense because you're going to want to, use your S3 after your S2 procs against units like Payra. So you're going to want to build him about at 260 speed, I'd say. 250 speed's pretty good. And by having that CR push on yourself, it's going to be even better to be faster, because you can cycle super fast and, keep your enrage buff up at all times. Also, you're going to see when he's enraged, by the way, he's going to activate Tidal Crash, which is a single target attack that can only activate once a turn during your own turn, so it won't work on dual attacks or counter attacks. And this will be an extra attack that will also scale with your speed, and this does a lot of damage, as you'll see. And you're going to see that you can even soul burn this ability to do extra damage on the first part of your S1. So yeah, a lot of text here. Let's just see it in action. You're going to see that this is without the soul burn, by the way, guys, with attack buff, which is given to himself, but with his own S3. So you're going to see without soul burn on APOC Ravi, before the dual attack from Maid Chloe lands, she looks pretty cute here, it did 10.5k damage against an APOC Ravi. Now, given this was probably a squishier APOC Ravi, but it still looks pretty decent, the second part does 13k, so that did 23k damage by himself without soul burn. So you can see this is a very strong single target attack, right? So you really want to make sure you keep that enrage buff up, because it does a lot of damage, and this skill looks pretty crazy. You're probably gonna just almost one-shot Hwayoungs with this, right, if they don't have that barrier, and you're just going to be a very good answer to Hwayoung teams, and just having that strip for Payra is just very nice as well, and also cleansing yourself and being ready to actually deal with Payra teams. Also keep in mind, he's going to be very good against Summertime Assyria teams as well, because he can actually, dodge the damage portion of his S3, even though he can still get bombed, but I think his S2 will work against Summertime Assyria as well, if you're not running Payra. If they're running like a Ran, you can actually Ran doesn't work because of the buff. But anyways, so artifact, Spear of Purification. You're going to see that this is his own artifact. It's going to increase his attack by 20%. Basically, when an enemy uses a non-attack skill, he'll be able to CR push himself. This can be activated once per turn. So very, very nice. This is going to be very good with his S2, because you're going to notice that his S2 does not have a built-in CR push, which is kind of weird. It feels like it should, and you're going to get that from his artifact. So yeah, you're going to definitely want this on him. You can also run him on like Draco Plate to do more damage, but I think this artifact will be very good on him, and even on other units as well. I'm not sure if this will be too good on any other warrior units. There's not any that come to mind really. So first off, we'll say that this is going to be good on him, so you're probably going to want this. You can also just run Draco Plate if you don't want to spend the powder. It should be okay, but I think that CR push will be nice to lower the gear requirements, to lower the speed requirements of building your Taeyou. So yeah, I think this unit will be pretty cool. It is going to be a good answer to Hwayoung and Payra, but I don't think he'll be like super broken in other situations. So if you think about it, right, Hwayoung was released to counter the tank meta with Bellion, FCC, APOC Ravi, Meteor Carrick, stuff like that. And the thing is, she was so strong that she was broken in pretty much every situation, so it was a problem. So Taeyou's the same thing, right? He's being used as a counter to, he's being released to counter the meta units, but he's not going to be broken in every single situation like Hwayoung was. So he's a lot more balanced, and I think Smilegate did a good job in releasing a counter to the really annoying units in Hwayoung and Payra without making him super OP. You can see at the bottom here, like I said, he's going to be available from May 5th, and he's also going to be available for 2 weeks because he is a new unit. Do I think he's worth pulling for, guys? I think it's hard to tell right now because people haven't tested him. From what I can see, though, I think he's going to be a very good pull because he is an answer to a very, very OP unit in the meta in Hwayoung. So I know for sure I'm going to pull him because Hwayoung is just super annoying to deal with. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this first impression video, guys. If you guys want to see more of these types of videos, make sure you leave a like and a comment. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.